And he's just cracking his knuckles. He's like, what are you gonna do? He's like, I'm gonna do the best I can, baby. And he just starts pummeling this guy, chat. It's like, Jesus. So he's like, he's at his fucking uncle's place. Strama. And Batman's like, thank you. Punch, punch, punch. Knocked out. Then he goes there, chat. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video. But now, my friends, let's go ahead and get back to Batman the Animated Series, episode 31, Robin's Reckoning, part 1. Chat. We open up, chat, on a skyscraper. Stranger's shoe with a 5-biddy donation. Thank you. Maybe Warcraft or Orcrosis. Yes, that's what we need. That was Warcraft. That's what he was, technically. Yeah, we had that little baby at the end, like in a river. Is he going to be the leader of all the orcs? He's going to like, let my people go, the Alliance. Okay. Now you should just use your voice of screaming vampires. That would be good for the hype music. I can do that. That'd be fun. Thank you, Stranger Shoe with the 5 biddies. But chat, we are up upon a Gotham skyscraper, chat, where we have Batman Robin. Robin, he only gets to join Batman occasionally, chat. Dick Grayson, he is attending college, chat, at Gotham University, and these outings are a rare thing. Not like back in the day when Batman's like forced him, you know, like in middle school and high school to put on the fucking green tights and go out there and fight crime, okay? All right? You got to go to college now, so I can't have you wearing those green tights all the time. So I think this is Robin's 3rd appearance in the series. So he had Christmas with the Joker, which was his first appearance, episode 2, because he was home for Christmas break, which that was funny. And then Fear of Victory, because Scarecrow was fucking with all them kids on the college campuses, chat. And he's like, Batman, help me. And he's like, all right, I'll help you. And this is his 3rd appearance with Robin's Reckoning, chat. And they're scoping this out because there's going to be a sabotage job done on one of these skyscrapers that's being built. These saboteurs are coming in. Robin's like, Bruce, Batman, we've been here for 4 hours. Do you think they're going to come? Batman's like, uh-huh. He's like, all right. I mean, do you think it's going to be these saboteurs? Uh-huh. And he's like, how long do we have to be here? Do you really think they're going to be here? Uh-huh. He's like, that all you say? Uh-huh. Fine. And finally, chat, the saboteurs do arrive. And it's like, oh my God, finally some action. He's like, all right, we'll take them down. You go for the weak ones, I'll take the tough ones. He's like, got it, Batman. And he fucking, Robin, he grapple hooks over there, and woohoo! He flies over there, chat, and we see the grapples over there, swings over there, and these guys are setting up a bomb right in there, chat. We're like, all right, let's start the counter now. Right before they're about to press the counter, chat, Robin comes in there, slams in this one guy's face, chat, just kicks him right in the face, you know, because he has all the momentum, too, of swinging from one skyscraper to the other, chat, hits him in his fucking face, jaw just goes. Knocks out half his teeth, chat, like Oberyn Martell, scatter, and Robin just grabs this guy, and they fall on this crane, and they start bad. The guy's like, oh, yeah, like his jaw's not working anymore, chat. He won't be able to chew for at least 9 months, I'm gonna say. He's gonna have to drink everything from a straw, and honestly, chat, he needs it. He's a hefty guy. He's eaten a lot of buttered noodles in his day, and, you know, he can afford to drink from a straw for like 9 to possibly 12 months, a full year. Meanwhile, Batman, he kicks one fucking guy off. He's like, oh, he's hanging for his fucking life on edge, chat, while he battles these other 2 guys. One guy has a crowbar, and he's trying to smack Batman. Batman just grabs the crowbar, and he just fucking hits him in the face with it, and his nose just goes. Like, Batman's like, listen, I'm not going to kill you, but I will physically maim you and probably disfigure you in the process, but you'll still be alive. And so his nose just explodes. He's like, ah! And he's screaming. Well, the other guy, he tries to get the drop on Batman, chat, and he runs towards this elevator. He's like, fuck this, I ain't fighting them. He goes towards this elevator. Meanwhile, the other guy, he manages to lift himself off of this beam. Robin, he's busy punching the buttered noodles, man, and his jaw is just some mush. And they see these 2 guys getting away. And thankfully, Batman, he grapples up there. He stops one of the guys. The other guy falls off. Wow! And he's holding for fucking dear life on a crane. At this point, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. But but then Robin, he's like, but Batman, they're getting away. Because all the other 3 guys are taking off. And Batman's like, don't worry about it. We just got this guy, and he'll give us all the fucking information that we need. And he's like, I'm not going to tell you nothing. And Batman's like, okay. He just walks away. When Robin's like, Batman, he's like, yeah, we're gonna fucking walk away, Robin, it's fine. And this guy's like, wait a minute, you wouldn't leave me here like this. Okay, you don't kill anyone. And he's like, hey, we're not the fucking police, all right? Don't worry, they'll come for you. And he's like, I won't be able to hold on for that long. He goes, yeah, I guess that's true. And he just continues to walk. He's like, okay, I'll tell you. Just please tell me. Batman's like, I'll help you off the hook as soon as you tell me who your boss is as part of this little saboteur operation. He goes, his name is Bill Mandarin. And Batman's like, Billy Mandarin. And he has like, he's like a flashback or something, chat. His eyes get wide. And he can't believe it. He's like, oh my God. And the guy goes, whoa! And he lets go. He falls. Batman grapples him. Robin grapples him. He's like, Batman, are you okay? And, Robin, he takes the thing from Robin. He goes, I'm going to tie this guy up. You go ahead and bring the Batmobile around. He's like, Batman, are you sure? He's like, I do what I tell you. And Robin's like, okay, Bruce, okay. And he goes, like, Bruce has never yelled at him like that before. Batman's never yelled at him like that before. And what's interesting, chat, is this episode is it's the downfall. It's the start of the downfall of the relationship between Bruce and Dick throughout the entire series. Because sadly, the relationship between Bruce and Dick, especially in season 3, is just gone. Dick hates Bruce. Basically he gets, he throws the Robin mantle back in Bruce's face. They get into a fucking fight, and that's when he becomes Nightwing, and that's when Bruce adopts Tim Drake. But yeah, he's like, I want to be a part of this whole thing, what you do. Like, he's just sick of Bruce and his shit. And it's very, very sad, like, where their relationship goes. And this, you could tell this is the start of it, chat. Because eventually, they wrap the guy up, and, Dick is like, well, listen, we can go after this Billy Mandarin guy tonight. And Bruce is like, you're not going after him tonight. I'm going to take care of this alone. He's like, why? Because I said so. Okay? Listen, I always told you, what I say goes, all right? And you can't fucking question me, Dick. You're going to stay here, all right? You're going to go back to college in a couple of days. Just take some time off for yourself. I'm going to handle this by myself. And it's like, but I want to do this. He's like, I don't care what you want, okay? This is what I'm doing. And he drives off. And Dick, Alfred's coming down because he woke up. And he's like, hey, is everything okay? And Dick's like, what the fuck's his problem? I come back here, I don't get to do this often, and now he's telling me I can't be Robin, I can't join him on this thing. What? I don't understand, Alfred. And Alfred's like, well, what happened? Explain this to me. And he's like, I don't know. It's like the guy that we bought, we stopped these saboteurs from blowing up a skyscraper that's under construction, but Bruce is acting all weird because he's found out their apparent boss named Billy Mandarin. You know that name, Alfred? And Alfred's like, no, I never heard of the name, no. And he's like, I'm going to look up in the Batcomputer who this guy is, Billy Mandarin. They type in the Batcomputer, and we see, he types in Mandarin, Bill, and it's an alias, and he has all these other alias, chat, including Sid the Squid, which I thought was pretty funny, who actually appears later in the series, Sid the Squid. He's another character, the guy who killed Batman, chat, which is a wonderful episode. But he's like, these are all aliases. It's like, well, it's, and he goes to the next file and found out what his identity is. And it's revealed his name is Tony Zucco. And Alfred's like, oh, shit. Because Alfred knows why Bruce has been so cagey about this, why he didn't want Dick Grayson to be involved. And then Dick Grayson is like, oh, my God. Finally, I've been looking for this man for years. Tony Zucco was the guy that killed Dick Grayson's parents all those years ago, chat, at Haley Circus. Fucking flashback, chat. We see a very young, blue-eyed, chubby-cheeked Dick Grayson, chat. And he's a part of Haley's Circus, chat. His mom and dad, they're trapeze artists, and he works with his mom and dad, and they're the Flying Graysons, chat. The star attraction okay, of Haley's Circus. And him and his mom and dad, they're all doing all the practicing over the net, having a great fucking time. And they're like, son, we love you so much. This is so great to, to raise you in the circus. And the circus is a second family, check. All the fucking clowns and the lion tamers, they're like, we're bro family. Everyone's having a great goddamn time. And he's like finishing up. He's like relaxing, and he has his towel chat with this elephant is always messing with him. He's always like his buddy. He's like his big brother elephant. And elephant like grabs a towel. He's like, Zoomblafoo, what are you doing? And Zoomblafoo's like, all that elephant noises. And he's like, you goof, and they're having a great time. It's adorable, chat. It's adorable. But then little Dick, chat, little tiny Dick. He hears some wrestling going on in Mr. Haley's. He's the owner of the circus. He's the ringmaster, chat. He hears some arguing going on. And Mr. Haley's is like, get the fuck out of my goddamn office. You think I'm going to pay you protection money? Protection from what? Get out of here. And he pushes this guy out of his trailer. And it's Tony Zucco, a young, fresh-faced Tony Zucco, is like, you're gonna fucking regret this, Mr. Haley. Believe me, okay? You never know what might happen here. You might have a situation where, I don't know, these trapeze wires, they might be a little brittle. You might have an elephant eat some guy's face. I don't know. Forget about it. You call me, okay, when you fucking get your mind together. And he's like backing up, and he accidentally knocks Dick Grayson down. He's like, get out of my fucking way, you punk, and he leaves. And then Zoomblafoo, the elephant, comes over, and it's like, it's okay, Zoomblafoo, that guy was just a mean guy. And then later that evening, Chad, it's the big fucking Haley Circus. Everyone's getting together. It's great. It's being sponsored by Bruce Wayne, Chad. It's like, wow, we even have Haley, the ringleaders, out there. And it's like, welcome to the greatest show on earth, Gotham. And I want to give a very big thank you to Bruce Wayne for his generous donation and for hosting this event. Witness me! Witness the circus! The Chad Technique Diaz. Thank you so much, Ray. Everybody on the dance floor. Ray Nick Diaz, thank you so much for your generosity, my friend. Currently in the middle of my review of my Batman the Animated Series, episode 31, Robin's Reckoning, part 1. Good to have you here, man. Very, very kind. Very, very kind. James, are you coming in? Juicy. I'm seeing the rep. Thank you. Oh, it's so good. Thank you so much, James. Thank you again, Nick. Appreciate that. One of the backbones, the DD community, chat. Make sure the goddamn wheels on the goddamn car. But, chat, during this whole thing, Mr. Haley, he's thanking Bruce, and Bruce, a very young Bruce Wayne, stands up. He looks like he's in his early 20s at this point. He stands up. He's like, thanks, everybody. And he drops his popcorn, his soda over. He's like, go. He's still like he's acting like a klutz. Like, that guy could never be Batman. Look at him. He's a fool. He's a clown, dropping all the stuff over his brown and yellow suit, that dapper yellow and brown suit, chat. Meanwhile, chat, we see Tony Zucco. He has disguised himself as a clown, and he's cutting one of the trapeze wires right there. There's fraying a little bit, chat. And so if enough weight's placed on it, it'll fray and give way. And whoever's on it, chat, will die. And, Dick, he's getting prepared, but he notices this guy near the trapeze wire. He's like, wait a minute. And the guy starts walking away and stuff. And he's like, wait, I know that guy. That's that guy who's very mean to Mr. Haley. He's like, hey, what are you doing here? But then his mom and dad are like, Dick, come here. We got to go on. We're the opening act. He goes, okay, but there's this guy. He's like, come here. It's okay. And he joins him. And, Mr. Haley is like, and opening up the finest performance on earth is the Flying Graysons. And they're all up there. And Dick is trying to get his parents' attention. He's like, I don't know, guys. Like, I saw this weird guy down here, and he's not a part of the staff. And it's like, it's okay, son. We'll talk about it later. And they start doing their whole act, chat. They're swinging back and forth. But as they keep going back and forth, chat, that rope that Tony Zucco had cut, it starts to fray more and more and more until eventually, when he swings on it and he notices like something gives, he's like, what is that? And he stops, and then his dad's on the other side, or no, his mom's on the other side, and his dad's like, all right, son, here we go. And he swings out, and right before like the mom jumps up and she's about to grab onto the dad, he sees it start to fray. It's like, no, Mom, Dad! And as soon as Mrs. Grayson grabs the feet of Mr. Grayson, chat, boom, that thing gives way. He loses fucking grip, and there is no net to protect him, Chad. That's the big appeal of this particular show of the Flying Graysons. No goddamn net. And boom, they hit the concrete ground, Chad. They explode like a bunch. They explode like a bunch of hot water balloons on cement. And Dick's like, oh! And Bruce is like, I have a ward. Yes, I have someone who can wear the green tights. No, the whole crowd is like, oh my fucking God. Jesus. Just like, ooh, like they got fucked up. That's a bad death. You can tell they didn't show it. You know that they don't. That's a closed coffin funeral. If I tell you what, that's a closed casket. And eventually, you have little Dick Grayson, who's just has that 1,000-yard stare, and Commissioner Gordon sitting next to him. He's like, just tell me what happened, son. What'd you see? He goes, I saw this guy. He was here, and I never saw him before, and he was messing with the wires, and I didn't, I tried to tell my parents, but, and he starts to just cry, and Commissioner Gordon's like, it's okay. You just stay right here. I'm gonna be right back. And we go to a young Harvey Bullock, Chad, who's still a patrolman, and Harvey Bullock is inspecting. He's like, Commissioner, it looks like the wire was cut. And he goes, this fucking guy put out word of this Tony Zucco. All right, he's wanted for possible murder of Mrs. and Mr. and Mrs. Grayson. And then Bruce Wayne comes over. And he's like, I think he's not even commissioner. He might be lieutenant at this point. He's like, Lieutenant Gordon, listen, I just wanted to ask, what's going to be done with the boy? And Lieutenant Gordon's like, well, Mr. Wayne, he doesn't have any family. Like, his mom and dad, that was it. There's nothing else. Miss Grayson lost her parents last year, and he has no one else. And Bruce is like, well, so what we're going to do is like, well, we put him in the foster care situation. Bruce is like, listen, I could take care of the kid, and Lieutenant Gordon's like, why? He's like, don't you mind, okay? I have green tights that need to be filled. And he's like, okay. And so apparently Lieutenant Gordon says, hey, see that rich man over there? He bought you. And so you're going to live with him. And Dick Grayson's like, wait, what? And then we cut. And Dick Grayson's in this police car, and they drive up. They drive up to Wayne Manor. It's fucking gray-skied. And as soon as he gets out, chat, it's great. This fucking bat hits him in the face. He's like, what the fuck was that? And it just flies away. And then Alfred comes out and goes, I'm sorry, young sir. We have a lot of bats on the property. Get it, chat? Because Bruce Wayne is Batman. And Commissioner Gordon's like, well, you have at it, kid. See you later. Sorry, condolences. And he just drives away. And then you have little Dick Grayson, who's like so confused and scared and lonely, just going, he's like, yeah, come inside. We'll talk. Deadpool, think of the 5 minutes. How much for the young boy? That's pretty much what it was. And, fucking Lieutenant Gordon's like, $50. That's all you need. I don't give a shit. Exactly. I need a ward / sidekick. I need someone to fill some green tights. And so they welcome him inside the house. And they take him to his room, which was originally Bruce's room. And it's like, see, Dick, you got a lot of toys here. This is great. And Dick's like, I guess so. Thanks, Mr. Wayne. And he's like, yeah, anyway. Alfred will do some stuff with you. Alfred, feed him or whatever. And Alfred's like, Bruce, don't you want to, show him around? And Alfred's like, you can do that. Plus, I'm working that thing, Alfred. I got a big meeting. Later. And Alfred's like, yes, of course. Well, Master Dick, if you'll follow me, I'll show you the house. And so eventually, this goes on. And for whatever reason, Bruce is mostly gone from Wayne Manor. He says, like, he comes home from work, and then all of a sudden he's like, well, I got to go to the meeting. And Dick is like, it's 9 at night. And Bruce is like, it's a late meeting. It's in fucking Saudi Arabia. It's weird time zone difference. I'll be back soon. And Dick is like, that's fucking weird. And eventually it's like I don't know, the 7th day or something, and Dick is eating alone again, and he's like, hi, Mr. Wayne, and he's like off to another meeting, and he goes, yeah, I am actually. Alfred, yeah, you doing good? Everything's going well, kid? And he goes, yeah, I'm okay, I guess. He goes, great, all right, Alfred, you make him, I don't know, dessert or something, I don't know. I'll see you later. Alfred's like, Bruce, I think you should be with him, all right? I raised you, and I don't think I did a very good job. Try to do try to be a father to him. Bruce is like, I'll fucking do that later, okay? I'm doing this for him right now, Alfred, okay? I'll be right back. I'll hang out with him, and we'll have a great time. Alfred's like, Bruce, he's like, don't worry about it. And so then, Chad, we cut. He's like, I'm working on the case. And we cut to this alleyway, and Bruce has disguised himself as a bum, and he's playing dice, and he's trying to learn the information about where Tony Zucco is, where is his location. And he learns from these other fellow bums, Chad, playing the dice, that apparently he's at his uncle's place. Stromwell, Chad, who we saw previously in another Batman Animated Series episode, where Stromwell has basically relinquished all his power to Rupert Thorne. He's been deposed as the most powerful crime boss. So we see a young Stromwell, which I think is pretty interesting. And eventually these fucking bums and these mafiosos, they get wise. And they're like, wait a minute, who the fuck are you? And Bruce just starts punching the shit out of him. Chad, backhand, like, oh my God. And you also see like his outfit is different. Like his mask, his cape and collar's ears are longer. And he doesn't have the yellow around the bat symbol, which I think is cool. It's like, oh, kind of show like this is an earlier version of the bat suit. I kind of like that. And this one guy who is trying to run, he's trying to grab all this money and run off. And Batman corners him. He's like, I ain't going to fucking tell you nothing. And Batman's like, you're going to tell me everything. And he's just cracking his knuckles. He's like, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm going to do the best I can, baby. And he just starts pummeling this guy, Chad. It's like, Jesus. So he's like, he's at his fucking uncle's place. Stromwell. And Batman's like, thank you. Punch, punch, punch. Knocked out. Then he goes there, Chet, and we see a young Arnold Stromwell, retiring in his study, Chet. But you know who's fucking there? Batman. And he grabs Stromwell. He throws him against his fireplace. He's like, Jesus. And he's like, where's your piece of shit nephew, Tony Zucco? And he's like, listen, I've cut that little piece of shit out of my life a year ago, okay, months ago. He's not here, all right? You think I let that weasel back in my place? Absolutely not. And Batman's like, oh, you sure? And he grabs and he throws him in this, like, armchair. Is because if you're lying to me, Arnold, I'd be very, very grumpy. That's what he says. I'd be grumpy. He's like, okay, but it's a ruse because he puts a little listening device under the arm of the chair. It goes boop, and this is all a ruse. And it's like, I'll be watching you. And he leaves. And meanwhile, Tony Zucco was always outside the door the entire time. He comes in and he's like, fucking uncle, my God, thank you so much. You saved my life. Thank you, man. And Stromwell's like, get your fucking ass out of here. You brought fucking Batman in my home. Get your ass. You killed that fucking couple. Why? Why'd you kill him? You're trying to extort a circus? Are you out of your mind? You circuses, they've been dying off for decades. No one goes to them anymore. Or you think Buck and Bruce Wayne donated to him? Get your ass out of here, you idiot. And he's like, but uncle, come on. And meanwhile, Bruce is listening to all this. He's like, oh, shit. And then they hear this one guard, like, catch Bruce, like, hey, what are you doing? Bruce is like, oh! And he starts punching the shit out of the guy, chat, because he's, like, listening, like, the corner of the house or something. And then Tony goes like, oh, shit, he's still here. You gotta hide me, uncle. He's like, I ain't fucking hiding you. Get off of me. He pushes him, slams the door. And Batman, he busts in through a window. He's like, I'm gonna fucking beat the shit out of you. So he goes like, oh! And he, like, runs through the house, chat, like chopping air, Tom Cruise running. He jumps out of a window, goes into one of the cars, chat, takes off Bruce. He fucking lands on it. Tries to punch through the windshield to grab him, but Tony Zucco, he pulls out a fucking gun, starts firing it, and Bruce has to leap off the car to avoid the bullets, and he's like, oh, I want to shoot him so bad, but he got off, and eventually he goes back to the Batcave. He's like, Alfred, I was so close to him, I could smell his sweat, and Alfred's like, listen, Bruce, there'll be another time you'll be able to capture him, okay? The person you should be, with right now is not Tony Zucco. It should be that boy up there. And it's like, Alfred, I don't have time. And Alfred's like, fuck you. You do have time, okay? Because there is a sad, traumatized little boy who just lost his parents, and he needs someone to be with him right now, okay? Does that remind you of anyone, Bruce? And Bruce is like, No, yes it does. Yes it does. Bruce is like, fine, okay. Now go up there and be a goddamn dad. And he's like, oh, fine. And so he goes up there, chat, and we cut to like poor little Dick Grayson sitting next to his window just crying because he's so sad and lonely and scared. And Bruce is like, hey, hi. And he's like, oh, hi, Mr. Wayne. And he's like, how you doing there, buckaroo, buddy? Hey, listen, I want to let you know that all my meetings the next few days, they're done, man. They're done. And, you know, I just got 2 box tickets for the next Gotham Gators game. Won't that be fun? You like the baseball there, huh? Gotham Gators? You know, he's like, that does sound kind of cool. He's like, yeah, it does, doesn't it? And then little Dick Grayson, he goes, you know, I've been moving around, walking around the house, and I noticed all these pictures of your parents, and I know what happened to them. Bruce is like, yeah, you do? He goes, yeah. And he's like, so did your parents die too? He goes, my parents are dead. They did. And he just starts, no, he just starts blubbering. And he goes, much like you, Dick, I also too lost my parent. And so I know what you're going through right now. I know that it hurts. And the pain is raw, and you feel like you're alone in the world, and you feel like you're helpless. And then Dick just starts talking. He's like, I felt like I was helpless, but I felt like I could have done something. I was trying to tell them. Bruce like stops him. He's like, he holds him. But this is the first time that Bruce like holds him, which I think is kind of like, you know, it's like, oh, this is great. Like he actually touches him the first time, because Bruce has always been so standoffish with Dick, but this is the first time that he's actually touching him. He goes, no. You're saying all these things right now, but there's nothing you could have done. There's nothing you could have done, okay? What happened. You had no control over it, okay? No matter what you think, you had no control. And basically, this is what people have been telling Bruce for all these years, but he's never really listened. And I think in a way, it's like him trying to tell Dick all these things so he doesn't go down the same path that Bruce did, even though he inevitably does. But he says, like, it was out of your control. These things happen. And Dick's ask him, is like, does the pain ever go away? Is it always there? And Bruce is just staring at him. He goes, oh, Jesus. Oh, man. I don't want to lie to you, kid. It's there. But with time and with punching criminals, I mean, you know, with being around people you love, it doesn't hurt as much. And he's like, I really appreciate what you've done, Mr. Wayne. And he's like, you don't have to call me Mr. Wayne anymore. Don't call me Mr. Wayne. You can call me Bruce. I wish he called him Dad, but I guess it's too soon yet. But it's like, you can call me Bruce. He's like, thank you, Bruce. And then we cut, and it's Robin who's sitting at the Batcomputer all these years later. And it's like, that fucking son of a bitch lied to me. That's why he didn't want me on this case, because he knew that I wanted to fucking kill that guy years ago. What he took my whole world from me. And Bruce not involved me in this case after everything I've been through. Alfred, fuck him. You know what he's like. You always knew what he's like. Alfred's like, Master Dick, you need to settle down. He's like, I'm not settling down, Alfred. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna kill that son of a bitch. And he gets on his motorcycle chain and he drives away. And Alfred's like, oh Jesus, oh boy. And that, my friends, is Batman the Animated Series, episode 31, Robin's Reckoning, part 1. Chat. This is again the dissolving of the Bruce and Dick relationship. I think because Bruce wasn't honest with him about this is where they eventually end up in season 3. And where they don't even fucking talk to each other. Like Bruce hasn't talked to him in decades since in Batman Beyond. It's sad. Stay tuned for part 2, chat. Tomorrow, Robin's Reckoning, part 2. But it's amazing 2-part episode, chat. Really, really good. I love young Bruce Wayne's interactions with young Dick Grayson. You'll see more of that tomorrow as well. Woo, chat. But with that, hope you enjoyed the review. Sure you have a good evening. Thank you for stopping by the stream. Bruce, poor puncher Wayne. Alfred knows the thing about taking care of orphan kids. He does. He calls him Master Dick. He does. Should have just called him Master Richard. I think it would have been better. Oh, Lord. But now, chat, we'll be moving on to the video games. We're playing some Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.